Hello, welcome back to Actual Play Swords Out Master Sunday morning speed runs of Sean having messed up hair. Um, we are. That's not actually part of the title. I'm hearing myself right now, which means I need to not have to switch up. Hi all, we are back, and this time Josh is going to be our overplayer, which I'm very excited about. It's gonna be awesome. I am excited because I'm super tired, and this was the spirit of this game, which was playing Sunday mornings. So it's 8 a.m. my time, and I was up late, and I think everyone was up late. So we're gonna have a fun loopy game. It's gonna be good times. Oh, I'm gonna play Tick Click Chick. He's a grasshopper man. He's rad. He's got a sword, and like he can jump really far, and that's cool.
Hi, I'm Naja. I am very tired as well. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I was watching a K-drama until 2:30 a.m. this morning, and it was very sad, which I knew, but Blue Jay wasn't ready for. So we spent a lot of time crying on each other, but it's fine because that's what friends are for. I'm in Blue Jay's apartment right now because I am in the middle of a transition to Seattle, but I should have my own digs in a couple of weeks. I am Tris Ray on the internet, and today I am going to play Aya of the Tide, the mysterious moon witch who does not live in Raveland yet.
I am Shell Khan, and you can catch me on Twitter's Portable City. I am apparently in a slightly exciting Raveland because my webcam is has a mind of its own today. So I apologize if that's at all distracting, but hopefully it will only add to the sense of tension as we go into what I'm sure will be some dire situations. Like giant cats.
Sorry.
I am super excited to be back here playing swords and getting my sword and sorcery fix, and I wore my Conan two snakes facing each other shirt for the occasion. So I'm ready.
Nice.
Good morning, everybody. It is entirely too early here, and I am also without enough sleep. Hi, I am Strash, he, him, and I will be overplaying for everyone today the giant Black Panther-like beast that will occasionally butt itself into the screen as Nemo. And I'm excited. I actually, when Swords first came out, I ran it a lot, but I actually haven't overplayed in like almost a year, so this should be an exciting, fun opportunity for me to make terrible mistakes and forget the rules on the fly. So bear with me and forgive me if I make some oopses. All right.
Oopses are, I think, part of the game. They're all good. I'm gonna throw all of our eidolons in so folks know who, at least have the image of who we're playing. Let's see if I can do this elegantly in Twitch chat, or if it'll just mangle it all. Pretty mangled, actually. Yeah, thanks. Hey, John, you've been subscribed for 6 months in a row. Thank you, sir.
Woo! All right. Shall we just jump right in? Is that the...
Yeah.
Is that the modus operandi today, or should I attempt to very poorly...
No, last session we did the whole like, okay, this is how the whole game works, and so so if you're wondering how Swords That Master was played, watch the last video, and we have and you can get the whole rundown from Epi. But I think we're ready to go up. So
all right, so let me get my Roll20 here set up real quick. I am going to get the dice ready just so that I have them and find my name because I am so confused about where I am.
Oh, you're upper left-hand corner. Let me rename all the things.
All good. All right. I have not picked up the dice yet, so we're going to start the timer here in a second. I unfortunately do not have Epi's punchy creativity, so I'm going to go with some classic sword and sorcery staples. And for those of you that clearly could not have possibly known exactly what was happening off camera right before we came on air, I freely threw the question out at my players. I said, who volunteers as tribute? And Sean raised his hand. So that's where we're going to start. All right. Let me get my sword and sorcery on. An age unheard of. Sorry, hang on. Here we go. All right, we're going to open. I'm going to hit the timer here. We're going to open in a scene that should be familiar to people that have walked the thunderous lands of the East. It is a place that is carved out of the black glass-like stone of these lands. It is a valley where instead of rivers that overflow the sides and tumble down in waterfalls, glowing red molten rock summoned from the rage of the earth flows all about you, and the heat is incessant. And that's when I pick up the dice, thunder, all sorts of lava. In the center of this all are cages filled with people. Amongst them, some people that we know, perhaps some of our adventurers here. And in front of them, arraigned, facing three corners of the earth, are large skulls of ancient beasts whose entire kinds have been destroyed off of this plane. And they are carved with all sorts of ritual sigils, and upon one of them is chained a giant grasshopper man. What's up, Tick Like Chick?
Oh no!
Exactly. In front of you is what can only be described as some sort of terrifying sorcerer. We'll give them a name. It is Zavarax the Black, cousin of another Xanrasar the Black, which we saw at one point. But he is holding aloft a ritual blade carved from the same black glass stone, and as he chants, an icy wind coming up from the very lands of the dead flows out of those skulls, each of which gives a cry of its ancient beast. And slowly the red molten rock starts solidifying, creating a bridge-like path into a cave that leads to who knows where. It's probably bad. They're terrible wizards, and we're going to open with a rogue's phase. All right, let me roll some dice here.
Nice.
Survey says
glum.
This is somehow, well, I mean, there is sorcery, which indeed does make you glum. So the overtone is glum, and let me tone it back down a little bit as like this cold wind comes. The red light and the heat dims, and the cold touch of death is upon everyone. So I'm gonna pass the dice to Losa, and I'm gonna say, Losa, show us what you have, or show us how you slip the bonds and the cage which holds you amongst the prisoners in order to try and help your friend.
So Losa is, as usual, in her sort of layers.
Hold on a sec.
Oh.
Roll first.
You're right. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, it's jovial. So Losa.
It's gotta be loud.
Right.
Yeah, as usual.
Glum scene, jovial Losa.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is wearing layers and layers and layers of cloaks, and one of the things that her captors did not know about her is that she is herself much smaller than her cloaks make her look. So with a enthusiastic cry, just as the sorcerers are finally distracted by this lava bridge that he's pulling together with the ice and the howling and the skulls, Losa, looking around at her fellow prisoners, makes a loud cry and casts her robes away from her, which turns out to be very loud because they're just literally filled with knives. So there's an incredibly loud clatter. She grabs her favorite couple of knives and just like shimmies through the bars and leaps up to start freeing to Click Chick. So I want to ask to Click Chick, what do you do the second your 6 limbs are finally freed?
Let's find out. Random. I would be glum, but to Click Chick's trick is that he is unparalleled, which means when I get glum instead, I have a Click Chick's other mood is unfathomable. His alien eyes are impossible to discern like what emotion is going on in him. He seems utterly alien. So the tone is unfathomable, and and I'm getting a moral here, right? Or a mystery. I'm getting a moral.
No, it's a moral. A mystery is if you
if you pair. Stymie. Yeah, exactly. And so a moral at the end of this is either myself or Strash or somebody needs to think of something I should have, a question or something a moral that I should take from the story, but probably won't. Okay, that's great. So I think to Click Chick's antenna, we see the bridge is like is solidifying, and it's like hardening, and it's like about to reach the cave, the lava solidifying. And as you break the Click Chick freeze, because like he's not moving hardly at all, and his antenna kind of twitch to show that he's aware of you, but doesn't seem to be like struggling at all. And when the final bracer comes free, when like the final bracer is about to come free, his sixth arm like reaches around and grabs it and like reholds it, like reclasps it on his arm, and there's this sort of like, he sort of looks at you with these sort of this alien look, and then like for a moment I think it makes no sense, or at least that's and we see the bridge just about to be finished, and he kind of, with like one sidearm, he signs this thing, and this is like, it's like, wait for the wizard to finish his laundry, which is like, again, doesn't quite translate right when he signs it. But he stands there without one clasp on because the wizard consents if it falls off. Social consents, and he wants to wait for the bridge to be formed. So there's something important there. And I will pass it to Aya to ask, when the bridge is formed and Aya leaps into action, what does she do? Oh wait, there's a moral I need to take from that. I think mine is something along the lines of appearing to be prey can bring us a sorcerer's guard down, something. Let appearing weak. I'll write it down. I'll think of something snappy to say, but
oh dear.
Well, before what was your question to Aya?
My question is, when the spell completes and the bridge is formed, what does Aya do when she leaps into action?
Well, actually, I'm sorry to insist.
No, go ahead.
It's actually relevant here, but you were supposed to say, show us how you do the thing, right?
Oh yeah,
right, because we're in Rogue Space.
No, thank you very much. Show us how Aya challenges the creature that comes out of the cave that the sorcerer has just made bridge to.
So Aya, I have the unfortunate privilege of telling you that when you roll a stymie, so first off, this is a mystery, which means that for some magical reason, something gets in your way. Aya should have been able to totally handle this beast, but for whatever reason, on a stymie in a rogue's phase, you fail to do the thing that you are asked to do. So show us how you don't challenge the beast.
Yeah.
I
probably should have made that more overt. Show us how you defeat it. Would have been a better prompt.
There you go.
In this case.
So this bridge, is it made out of obsidian?
Frozen solid lava. You can certainly play it up as that. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say it has a reflective surface, and so Aya is standing ready, swathed in her like witchy apparel, Hex is nowhere to be seen, nor is her familiar refraction, but she has her mirror reflection ready to like shine upon whatever beast comes out of this cave. But when the spell completes, some weird trick of light causes her mirror to instead reflect the bridge in a weird way, and Aya is sucked into her own reflection and trapped by some magical horse shit. I'm not very eloquent this morning. That's what you get from me.
That's all right. So you have to write a mystery, which is a question pertaining to what went wrong with this magic, right? And I feel like you have added enough of an escalation, so I have to say nothing. But unless somebody ends the phase, you have to pass the dice and make a demand.
So I need to write a mystery?
You will, but like
I will.
It doesn't have to be before you pass the dice. You can pass the dice and then start typing.
Okay. Okay. Pass the dice. I feel like what other phases are there? Peril? Something?
And discovery.
I feel like we should end this phase and move to
Yep. Anyone can end the rogue's phase. As long as soon as somebody has done a thing, anyone can call a chop, and then I set the next phase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Dwarf.
So that was an awesome, disastrous moment that I'm sure we will leap forward in time to. But until then, new phase time. I'm going to pick up the dice. Or well, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to prep to pick up the dice because once I pick them up, they will become a thunder. And I'm going to say that we will see the three of you. And you are... So as we see, Tiklikchik is a warrior currently, but Tiklikchik is not a wizard yet. So I think we're going to...
He's watching.
You ready? I'm gonna do an author self-insert. Oh no, I'm the worst GM ever. I think we're gonna be in a large tent. This is a tent the size of maybe someone's apartment. It's got like subdivisions. It looks super rad. There's tons of furs of many beasts that have been hunted upon the plains in it. There is, of course, large vases and barrels of different drink. And you're obviously being feasted by some sort of chieftain. And we know that they're like... Actually, I'm just going to say there are... to get to the devastated lands of the East, you must cross the saber grass plains where people ride large lizards. And so there are these like lizard riding tribes, and he is the chieftain of one of them. And his giant feathered lizard is sitting outside roaring as, the camera swoops in. And you folks are being wined and dined, and this person is clearly laying out things before you, and tales are being exchanged. This is probably where Arhan Fireharry is passed out, so that he's not with his friends during this adventure. And outside, it is a crystal clear night, and as you folks are around the torchlight and the wine and the foods, through a flap in the tent, we see that a single star in the sky extinguishes. And that's when I pick up the thunder, and I'm going to roll for tone.
Nice. What phase are we in?
This is a discovery phase, because I need to figure out, it's jovial. Of course it's jovial. I mean, whining and dining and parties are always jovial, right?
Right. Stars are being plucked out of the sky.
So this discovery phase, I am going to pass the dice. I'm actually gonna. We'll just go in the same order, I guess. Lisa, I'm gonna pick on you again. I'm gonna pass you the dice. You're gonna tell us. You're gonna roll first. You're gonna tell us the thing you discover, and then you ask me a pointed question because it's discovery phase, right? So we're gonna find out why you folks got into shenanigans. Ow, Nemo. I'm sorry. My cat is currently pawing at my feet trying to get attention. Please continue.
This is presumably like earlier that day, or before, or sometime before.
I'm gonna say it's like a week before, maybe 2 weeks before.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna grab the dice. I'm gonna roll the dice.
Nice.
Ooh, Los glum. So looking around this party, this beautiful tent, Losa, with her connection to light in all forms, is sensitive to even the extinguishing of a single star in the multitude of the night sky, because those stars are things she can draw her power from. So, not knowing exactly what happened, but feeling a loss, Losa sort of extracts herself from the table and takes a look around the tent to see if there's anything inside the tent that could explain what has happened. And while there are, great feast happening, much drink, Losa sees tucked away just around the corner of this multi-sectioned enormous tent what looks to be a series of astronomical tools. And not just any astronomical tools sculpted in black obsidian. And they're all wrapped up together and partially concealed, almost as if they're supposed to be traveling shortly as well. So Losa creeps a little bit closer. And my pointed question for our overplayer is, who is learning to control the heavens with these obsidian tools?
Well, I think it's absolutely obvious that it must be it's going to be the advisor to this lizard rider chieftain, obviously. And this is a stranger that walked into the wastes, and they found him half dead amidst the razor grasses, cut up and bleeding, and they rescued him. And in return, this person has aided them and made them strong in battle, but has asked that they go to specific places in the grasslands so that they can take measurements of the night sky. Rad. So I'm gonna pass the dice to Aya, and you should tell us the thing that you discover, because I believe I'm the one that ends this particular phase.
Okay. So roll first.
For tone.
Aya, it's jovial. My goodness. That is very rarely happens. Aya is curious. Aya's standing by these astronomical tools for reasons that we already know intrigue her. And she's gesturing very animatedly at her apprentice Hex. And trying to convey like all of these questions, and she's really excited about potential uses of these tools, of things that can not only measure the light of the heavens, but also maybe bend it in ways that she doesn't understand. And she's a professional light of the heavens bender. So she's very curious about this person that's using them, what they're learning. Hex is kind of overwhelmed with the speed of her trying to sign all of these things, because I had her voice stolen some time ago.
Is Aya learning to click chick sign language, or is it?
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Please continue. You get to ask me a pointed question about a thing that you're discovering.
Where does the light go when it's captured by these tools?
Oh, I see. So the same way that your mirror bends moonlight, these black obsidian mirrors capture light inside darkness. Inside like these black mirrors. Where does it go? Yeah, I think it's obviously some sort of black realm. It is the dark beyond the sky. It's the dark beyond the stars, obviously. And upon looking at these mirrors, you think that, at first what you're finding is a kindred spirit, but you understand that your sorcery may be bending, but this is sorcery that for its price is partially devouring. And if it continues being used, eventually the light will go out, or if it's kept inside it too long, the light will go out. So this is a devouring dark. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, in a very alarming fashion. Thank you.
That's my job. It's literally my face job. All right. I think we're gonna pass it to Click Chick. To Click Chick, tell us or roll first, and then tell us the thing you're discovering and ask me a pointed question.
Awesome. Let's roll them bones. Okay, cool. The Click Chick is jovial. So the Click Chick, I think, is very delighted when he sees that Aya is in fact, starting to employ some of his sign. Perhaps she has signed a few things indicating some of what she's found when she's investigated these things, and a little bit of foretelling his potential future. Click Chick is going through these like obsidian devices that should probably be handled. It's not that he's handling them. It's not that he's being careful with them, but he's being very enthusiastic as he like lifts them up and like holds them aloft, and like clearly we are here without like we've obviously snuck in here, or like nobody knows that we're here, otherwise we wouldn't have access to these things. So he's staring at them with like great curiosity, and as he's sort of rifling through all this stuff, very like not imagining any of this could do him any harm, he cut to him in chains. He stumbles upon a notebook and from this advisor, and in it is a letter with a wax. Inside the pages is a letter with a wax seal, and it carries the seal, which T'Klik does not recognize, but we know is Zavarax the Black's seal, and the letter hasn't been opened yet, and so T'Klik takes his like razor thin blade that we see him carrying in his picture, and like snaps the black seal like very carefully so that it could potentially be repressed on. He like slips it under the seal to open the letter. And what I want to know from you is when does Zavarax expect the delivery of these? Where are these obsidian tools expected to be delivered to the sorcerer Zavarax?
Sean, am I allowed to be just a little bit mean? I will cooperate with you, but I think I'm going to take just a tiny bit of agency away, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think the letter is addressed to you, and at this point, the wizard's spell seizes you and tells you that you need to deliver them before the next black of the moon. How's that feel?
That sounds super rad.
And I think we end the discovery phase, because we know how you folks get there then.
Nice. There we go.
All right.
I don't think that takes, just so you know, like, I don't think that takes any agency away from me, because I was just like, tell me the answer to the question. And you're like, here's the answer. It was delivered to you. And it's perfect. I love it.
It's if you had rolled a mystery or something, I feel like hitting you with bad spellcraft is very fair. But since you just rolled a regular tone, I think we're just straight up. I like to ask my players. I like some trust at the table,
Yeah, no, that's good.
All right, cool. You did volunteer for tribute, so
absolutely. And to be fair, like I think at this point, being unaware of the dangers of sorcery, T'Klik's like, he raises up his arms, like, cool, like, yay, like discovery.
All right, so I think we're going to have to just go straight into a perilous phase. Like we're like, here's the setup. You folks are doing cool stuff. I get trapped in some moonlight. And we jump back. We're like, how did they get here? Oh, they opened up sorcerer seals. Smart. And then We're gonna just jump right back to that first scene where it's like smash cut as a giant beast comes out of the darkness, and you realize that this is a creature that's been dead on this world for a long time, and what you're seeing wrapped around it is it's being given life again, but it is unnatural sorceress life. This is a peril, is not the thunder, but I am going to pick up the dice saying that it's a wreath and some sort of supernatural darkness, because there might be some more to that. And then I'm going to get, hi, Nemo-chan. 1 second. Let me give it a roll.
Hold on, is the black beast off on the side?
Oh, yes. The black beast is inspiring me. His tail is telling me this thing's going to have some sort of strange, shadowy tentacles here in a second. Here we go.
Maybe some claws.
Oh, it's just going to flip. So I think the the overtone is going to go to Glum. Yep. Because it was jovial previously, and I'm going to narrate in the tone, which is to say that the stars above are starting to dim, and the sounds in the area are being devoured, because this is not just darkness in the sense that it's eating light. This is darkness in the sense that it's also eating sound. And as this beast comes, it takes your voices, it starts taking your sight as shadows deepen and darkness comes in from the edges. And when it roars, it doesn't produce a sound so much as you feel the vibration. And you realize that Aya, trapped in that bridge, as like pieces are falling, you're seeing pieces of her glimmering and reflecting. And I am going to pass the dice. I'm going to leave Aya in peril for a second. I'm going to pass the dice to Click Chick. So you can hold them and you can roll when you want to interrupt. But until you interrupt, I'm going to make things worse.
Nice.
All right. So again, this is right where we left off the first phase. Aya is still trapped in the magic of that bridge, her moonlight captured in the basalt. Losa, you're by to Click Chick's side at that the giant altar. And so I'm going to say that, what did we decide? We have changed the name of Zabarath. Aya's face is, she got, her, I see a motif. So yeah, so Zabarath, they're speaking and they're crossing their arms and making very rapid gestures with their hands and mystical sigils, and the darkness starts rushing into them, and as it does, their voice changes and it starts devouring sound except for the words of the spell they're saying. They start growing, the blackness erupting. Huh?
I said, and that's what I want to jump in.
Go for it.
Your thought, but that's what I want
yes. Giant black shadowy tentacles erupting from their back, reaching into the cages and draining the life from the people there. Classic wizard stuff,
Classic wizard stuff. All right. And man, I cannot not roll what would be Glum. Okay, cool. So Click Chick walks out in front of the sorcerer and like bows to the sorcerer with his like 6 arms as though he is still under the sorcerer's spell, and carries and like picks something up from the table where the sorcerer had all these like ritual implements, and it looks as though he's completely spellbound by the sorcerer. However, we all know that Losa had like let him free of the manacles just before the sorcerer's spell was complete. So unlike the others, he picks up some item of artifice from the of these black obsidian things that he's got. That the sorcerer had, and he starts walking across the bridge towards this creature as though he's going to offer himself as sacrifice to the creature to fuel it further. And that's when he takes like I think it's like the microscope, or not the microscope, like the telescope. He takes the telescope and he like extends it all the way out, and he just like tries to shatter it into he shatters it into the obsidian. That is holding Aya, because we know this is the thing that can steal her image, and he's trying to set it free. So yeah, he tries to. I think the obsidian shatters. I don't know what we see of Aya immediately. Do I pass the dice at this point?
You do. Okay. I can't. You pass the dice to someone, but they do not roll immediately.
Yes.
They roll when they want to interrupt narration.
Exactly. All right. So I'm going to try and with this obsidian microscope appearing to be the sorcerer's thrall. At the last moment, he uses it to shatter the obsidian that's trapping Aya, and I'm going to pass them to Naja to see what she wants to do with that.
So, Naja, I'm going to make things worse until you roll, which is to say, to click check both the telescope and the bridge. Obviously, it's not so like the bridge starts shattering, and for a split second, it looks like this mastodon-like beast with 4 tusks coming out and 4 eyes in its forehead starts slipping down towards where there is a dull red glow below, where not all the lava has been completely taken out. And this would normally spell the end of just about anything. But instead of giant sort of elephant ears like mastodons may or may not have, there are an array of black tentacles, and just as it sinks from sight, they lash onto the top of this bridge, and it pulls itself up 4 tusks before you, sort of rears up and brings its legs down to smash to it tiny grasshopper man body.
And I will roll.
Go ahead. Thank you.
That's a lot. Oh, I've been so jovial this episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is
might be some shining moonlight.
Yeah, there is a not only a piercing ray of light in this like dark volcano-y space with the dim lava light and this thing sucking all the light. There's like this piercing ray of light, and there's a very like jarring high-pitched noise. And as it gets louder, you realize, for a character who has never before spoken on screen before, you realize it's Aya's voice, and she is shrieking at the top of her lungs, because when she went to that dark place where light and other things get devoured, what should she find but her voice that somebody stowed away there? So like this like horrifically loud sound and light just bursts forth from this bridge, and Aya emerges, and I feel like this overwhelming bombardment of like just sensation starts to beat this beast back. Like it's too much for it to swallow even. I will pass the dice to Lohse. Do I ask a question? No.
No. This is Lohse gets to hold the dice. I get to make things worse. I'm gonna make things worse for some NPCs. It feels so bad for them.
I have a question about your description, Aya. Naja, do we see Aya, or are we just hearing her voice right now?
You see her. She's made of light.
Wow, rad.
She seems to be insubstantial, or she's gone Super Saiyan. I don't know yet.
Both are okay.
I love the idea that there's like always a piece of.
She comes out of the bridge and does the cell intro. It's fine. Don't worry.
Sweet.
Rad. So, meanwhile, there is a very angry, very powerful sorcerer, and there are many people in cages screaming and dying. And as he is absorbing their warmth and light, his own sorcerous darkness is growing, and you realize that this is why this person is called the Black, because their spellcraft taps into this darkness beyond the void, and this ritual calls through like the ancient dead to this darkness. And Lohse, you are still near the altar, presumably, when this wizard with this grand power picks up one of those huge beastly skulls, this one of one of the lizards of the plains, which we saw briefly a little while ago, and opens its jaws as an extension of his arm, now having like a dinosaur head as a hand. And
I'm rolling because that's too good.
All right.
Oh, I'm jovial. So Lohse we'll be using Lohse's jovial feats heroic today. So Lohse by the altar, seeing this wizard now starting to Voltron himself into something more than human, more than animal, beyond this realm. Lohse, it's time. So Lohse snaps her fingers, and summoning from within her belly the light from the Temple of Arcto, swallowed years ago from a sacred goblet. And so it comes up and it's sort of like woof, this orb of light. And so she holds in her hand an orb of the sun's light, unseen in this cave realm for millennia. It glows with a burning orange glow. The only thing that can compare to it is Aya. And so Lohse, holding it in her hand, prepares to throw it at the sorcerer. So I want to pass the dice as Lohse is sort of like prepping for this. And she's laughing. She's just like, oh, finally. The situation that merits this. But I want to pass the dice to Aya and see what Aya does in response to this if we have the sun and the moon.
Aya, you are holding the dice. You may roll immediately if you choose, but if not, I'm going to make things worse.
I think I should, since something's been thrown at me.
I believe. Let's see what you get.
Oh no.
Oh my. I believe this is what they refer to as a stymie. So some magical thing stops you from being awesome and doing the thing you were planning. Please tell us how.
Yeah, I think Aya catches this orb and uses it in the way that she would normally hold her mirror. She holds this orb because the moon is a reflection of the sun, and et cetera, seems to follow in her mind that's how this would all work. But I think this orb burns her. I think the moon is not ready to like hold the entire power of the sun. I think it's very overwhelming for her, and she's kind of like it's almost like she's being electrocuted from a power overload and is unable to act. It's tragic.
Wow. You can pass the dice to one of your fellow players, or you can pass them to me, which immediately ends the phase.
I think I'll pass the dice to Click Chick because all of the sorcerers have now. It's a mess.
All right, awesome. So sorcery is all over the place. Josh, I'm gonna let you narrate a little bit so I can get my bearing. Feels like sorcery on the left and sorcery on the right.
The giant beast, the beast of shadows with the tentacle ears and the 4 tusks and the giant glowing red eyes, was staggered back and pushed back by the sound of Aya's keening, right? But now that Aya is attempted to hold the sun, and this silver figure glowing with light is now covered in golden fire and crying out in a very different voice, apparently. The beast is no longer held back. And so to Click Chick going from, yeah, we're winning, to, oh, poop, there's a giant 40-foot shadow mastodon with 4 tusks bearing down on me. And as it comes galloping towards you, like sections of this island are falling apart. Its footsteps are like cracking the earth itself. An entire cage full of people just goes tipping right over into the abyss. They're gone. And so, yeah.
Those people. All right, this is how I'm gonna roll the dice.
Go.
As this thing is bearing down upon both of us, I will. Okay, awesome, perfect. To Click Chick's unfathomable. I realized after I wrote this that describing somebody who's unfathomable was actually more difficult than I thought it was going to be. That's fine. This is going to be great.
Worst case scenario, you can change it before next game. Please continue.
Yeah, right. So to Click Chick stands very still. Waiting for the beast, like in his sort of duelist stance with his sword out, and he's like knowing that it looks like this sword would be like nothing but like a pinprick to this beast, but he still stands there as though he's ready to face it. And right when it is just about to bowl both him and Aya over, and it seems like he's just sort of given up this thing. It's when he leaps off. It's when he leaps off and grabs Aya and with his extra set of like grasshopper feet, like hangs onto the edge of the bridge so that there's nothing on the bridge as the beast like charges past, and he's like hanging on with his like 2 grasshopper legs and holding onto Aya, like barely holding her above falling into the abyss. But the thing rages past right into the sorcerer. He sort of matadored it, or he like leapt out of the way just at the last moment, and it tore past as we're both hanging on the edge of the bridge. Not unlike the first time we saw T'Klik falling off a bridge, but this time he's just barely holding on because the abyss hangs below.
It's an echo of a motif from 6 games ago. Who are you passing the dice to, Sean?
Well, both Aya and T'Klik are hanging for their lives, so let's see what Lohse can do for us.
I'm gonna let Strash just explain what's happening on site at the sorcerer's pedestal.
So Lohse, you saw your beautiful golden fire light Aya on fire. As a matter of fact, T'Klik's arms are well, actually, this is an interesting question. No, you know what? I have to make things worse. T'Klik's arms are also now on fire as this brave grasshopper man is trying to save his friend, and the scent of roasting grasshopper is upon the cold wind from the lands beyond the sun. But yes, this giant beast slams into a wizard, and for a split second, victory seems instantaneous, except for the fact that the wizard screams, "No! No!" And then, of course, the two begin merging into an even more vile monstrosity.
Right. Okay, it's time.
All right.
So, Lohse, again, seeing this, everything has gone wrong. And Lohse also having rolled a stymie.
Right. Oh, wait. We need to back up a little bit because I rolled a mystery, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
So
I did.
we need a mystery for Aya as well.
I think we yeah. I think we
Can the moon hold the sun?
Or why does the sun burn the moon? Any of these?
Yeah.
But oh look, more magical hullabaloo badness because the dice hate us today, or love us as the case may be. Lohse, tell us how things go wrong on your end.
So Lohse, seeing that indeed the sun's light has been not the helpful tool that she had hoped to provide to her friends, standing behind the shadow mastodon, shadow sorcerer, merging maelstrom of magic, attempts to call the sun's light back to her from T'Klik and Aya through this maelstrom, thinking to herself that at best, perhaps it will simply damage it a bit, and at worst, well, at least she'll have the sun's light back and can call it again in future. But that maelstrom has become not unlike a black hole of light and sound and joy. And as the sun's light releases Aya and T'Klik, and it comes in and it, has the halo of burning, the meniscus of fire coming off it as it comes through the air to the, we're in a rave, sorry, through to the maelstrom, you see it highlight the silhouettes of the shadow mastodon, the many other ancient beasts, the sorcerer, as it enters the heart of that maelstrom. And then as it grows brighter, and Lohse has a moment of hope, perhaps it is destroying this unholy magic, it turns an unholy red. And the red of the lava and the red of this are now at the exact same color. And we see now that all it has done is given the heat of the earth to this shadow maelstrom. And Lohse has no more light to call. So I'm gonna end this perilous phase.
I catch the dice.
Good call.
Whew. All right. I think we got to bail you folks out of this, so we're gonna go into a rogues phase. All right. So
I just want to make sure I heard that right. The heat of the sun has been absorbed in the Stark Maelstrom, and it now gives this sorcerer even more power. Yeah, awesome. Okay,
I'm pretty sure we're just fighting Golemag now.
I gotta write y'all a mystery, right?
Yes.
All right, give me a second. Don't call on me.
Agreed. I think I'm gonna set the scene, and we're just gonna pick it up like right after this. So like we were pretty much at the nadir here, meaning like obviously the Dark Wizard has won, all power has come forth. A giant monster of lava and shadows, like he has become the shadow and the flame, right? And to make things worse, this is where I pick up the dice, and I actually rolled a split second too fast. A single point on his forehead cracks open, and what shines forth is not red light, but silver. And it is obvious that it is a first star in a constellation in some sort of ominous pattern. I'm gonna set up the stars becoming right here in a second, and it's obvious that the wizard's plan is coming to fruition. So the wizard, this creature, this monstrosity that is well outside your scope, starts ignoring all of you, because clearly this ritual is exactly what this wizard foretold, to give them real ultimate power TM, and looks up towards the heavens, and as this thing gestures, because I'm pretty sure that giant shadow lava monsters are genderless, some of the stars go out and others start realigning, and you realize that this wizard is basically writing the patterns in the stars that will give them basically control over fate. And if that wasn't ominous enough, I now have to ask a question. So I'm going to say, Aya, show us how, now that you are no longer on Golden Fire, show us how you keep the wizard from completing this spell, such that all of you may have at least the fragment of a chance.
Jovially.
With a smile on her face.
She doesn't have to be happy about it. Just
No.
And it's also, FEL points out a lot that it's often good to not to follow the overtone, which is glum, until you have one moment that's jovial rather than the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
skip-a-doo.
Yeah. I think Aya is at a very low point. Like, she's found her voice, but all it does is shriek. And
Oh.
she's encountered light that she can't handle, and a darkness she can't defeat. But at that moment, her missing companions, Hex and Refraction, swoop in, literally. Refraction in the form of a giant swan, and Hex riding upon its back. Hex, who hitherto has been very perplexed, confused, seems to have learned something in all of this catastrophe that's happened to his mentor. And Hex shouts a challenge at this wizard, and the swan and Hex collide with this emerging pattern, disrupting the light that this wizard, disrupting the constellation that this wizard wants to draw.
Damn.
Let's see. To click check. Show us how I'm trying to phrase this. I know what I want, but I can't get the word. Show us how you take power from this discombobulated sorcerer and incorporate it into yourself.
Starting down the path of wizardry. See what happens. You turn into shadow monsters.
So show us how I take some of this wizard's power and incorporate it into myself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find out.
Great ask, by the way, Naja.
Yeah. I do it in a jovial fashion. Rad. Okay, so I have this very end of Aladdin, Jafar like turning into the genie, like growing, like the ultimate cosmic power kind of image, right? He's massive and whatnot. Um, and uh, and uh, and so Teklicik was stumbled up from, I think he stumbled up from the edge of where the hole into the abyss was, and he's insignificant in size now to the wizard, but he creeps around and he finds the some of the again some of the obsidian astrological tools that he's just been fascinated with his entire time and never like understood the ramifications of. And I think for the first time, like he finally understands he finds an astrolabe and a star chart, and as he's rifling through, it finally something that clicks with him, and
Does it to click with him? I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Please continue.
He snaps his fingers, and we realize that it is like the constellation that the wizard plans to form. It is his final plans, and it is his, if he has a weakness, this is his spell book, and Teklicik sees that the constellations have not yet formed, but that they will soon. He, not knowing how to get rid of this, he looks at the edge. He looks at the he looks at the abyss that's over near the bridge below, and he runs to cast it in. But as he's doing it, the rocks beneath him, because everything's just crumbling and falling apart, the rocks beneath him crumble and he goes down with it. He takes the final plans of the constellation into the darkness below with him, robbing the sorcerer of it, but entering this abyssal world himself. Next time we see Teklicik, maybe he'll be a little different. So I'm gonna pass this to Lohse and say, Lohse, now that the wizard is without the final component of his spell and does not know and is distracted by losing this, how does Lohse steal back the sun from him?
All right. Lohse is jovial, feeling great, apparently. So Lohse has watched, every move she's made find a bad end, but she's not done yet. So.
Oh, and I'm by the way reincorporating my original moral. So that is me out of the story. So I'm taking my original. Let them make you feel.
We all cried it in Roll20 in all caps, but for the players watching, we are now in Endgame. Endgame.
So, Aya, you are reflective, right? Lohse would know that your reflecting light is your
Mm-hmm.
jam. So, knowing that the sun's light was not an appropriate medium, Lohse reaches above her, and knowing, not knowing the details of the constellations or understanding, but seeing that for a brief moment the movement of the stars has been stopped, she reaches up to take control of what starlight filters in through this horrific abyss, and plucks the light of the stars down to herself. And seeing that Aya is on the other side of this maelstrom still, on the bridge that is crumbling, but she shoots the light of the stars like daggers through this sort of maelstrom of darkness and lava and heat and oppressive silence, to Aya, who would Aya just understand immediately and reflect it back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aya likes reflecting things.
Awesome. So I would like to just shoot the light of the stars like 1,000 daggers back and forth through this wizard. With Aya's help, if that's cool with Aya.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so we do that, and we start to see the maelstrom discombobulate. It starts to fracture. It starts to come apart, and the fractures, we see the burning light of the sun coming out in shooting rays from these fractures, as the starlight, the appropriate medium of collaboration, shoots back and forth, and finally the sun starts to emerge through the top, and Losa is busy with the starlight and can't grab it, but it flies up into the sky, creating for a moment a false orb of sunlight at the top of this lava cave, lighting everything, and finally revealing the paltry, flimsy magic that remains. And I would like to have reincorporated the sun burning the moon, and also the weakness of the shadows of the hot heart of the earth.
I believe we are done, so
Yes.
I'm gonna call time. But I'm going to ask Nadja, do you want to give us a brief epilogue, 2 to 3 sentence thing, just to tie it all together?
Yeah, I think Aya, now surrounded by, she's bouncing back with starlight. There's sunlight above her. She takes all of these streams of light and ties them together into a seal, pressing this maelstrom of dark magic back into the abyss from whence it came.
Time 55:49.
Nice.
A little bit longer than our tininess, but I had a great time, folks. That was rad.
That was
super cool.
badass.
I think this is now headcanon for the Big Bang.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says. Neil deGrasse Tyson can fuck off. That's what happened.
Right. Pretty sure I think what we did just remake the universe. We didn't make it in the Sorcerer's Dark Vision because the spell never got completed, but he did change the constellations around. I think they will forever be alien to us, and we'll always be walking in some weird lands. Yeah.
That is amazing.
I agree.
That is amazing.
I agree. This is a definitely 7 to 9 episode. We had a partial success here in stopping this wizard.
The world was created by a few people weaving sunlight and starlight to stop a dark wizard. Story checks out.
Legit.
I feel like that was some of the most exciting. Like, I feel like I've never played a perilous phase that long, and it just kept getting worse, and it was so awesome.
Yeah.
It's literally my job. Next week, feel free to tell Epi that it's his fault.
Yeah, I think this
No, I loved it.
Aya, Losa, and Tiklik at the start of time. It was
It's like Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Yeah.
Guys, I think we just did like an Elric story. Like, that was just like so cosmic and epic and bleak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, Tiklik died at the end. Sat all over.
He just fell into the abyss. It's okay. Yeah.
He'll come back a sorcerer.
Exactly. I took the sorcerer's spell book and disappeared in the abyss. What else do you think's gonna
And
happen?
the abyss at the start of time, clearly.
Yeah, right.
Well,
The start of
that
time.
happened.
That was super good. I hope that was as fun to watch as it was to play, because that was so epic.
Yeah, that was very metal. I love that, like, it started with like, oh yeah, we figured chronologically this is like after some other stuff. No, this is we figured
Time is a flat circle.
Especially when wizards are involved.
I mean, who knows where that wizard took us on our journey across the plains to meet him, right? We can go back in
There's
time.
an elder god in a new universe now.
Unfathomable indeed.
Unfathomable indeed.
Unknowable, non-Euclidean. That's your new thing.
Yeah, no, Euclidean. I love it.
All right, folks. So what's the plan? Are we
I think we're probably because I've got to roll right at 10. We could try and take a break and squeeze another one, or we could call this one good for the day. I feel like this was pretty darn epic. I feel like
Yeah.
I have told the story.
I would term this a whole ass snack.
All right. Let's call this for the day then. That sounds great.
All right.
Thank
It's
you,
fun
Josh,
to go with Epic.
for stepping in as overplayer. This was amazing.
That was so epic.
That is super, super cool. Thank you all for watching. I hope even those who were kind of tuning in and out just knew that, yeah, we started the universe. We started the world. Maybe many worlds, actually. I'm not sure if we just one. I think at least two.
It certainly explains realm walking.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because they are paths connected by starlight.
Yeah, right.
Very appropriate.
Strush put in chat, in Roll20 chat, a Starlight's Cat's Cradle of Wizard Death, which I just love this image of like light going from Losan reflecting off of Ion and just chopping it all up. Felt very Voltron as well, like lasers, just like.
Yeah, actually, in my head, there's this like swirling maelstrom of lava and rocks, and the silver light is going, and just as a rock is about to block it, like bounces around, so it's like all of it going like choop choop choop, and then like somebody catches it, throws it back.
It's the best game of ping pong I've ever played.
Yeah. Totally. All right. Well,
we didn't have any scryers in chat today, but I certainly hope that somebody takes up the mantle because I'm curious to hear what they get out of this.
Yeah.
Bullet hell indeed. Yes. Starlight bullet hell.
Maybe we'll get some in the VOD. Well, I am Sean. You can find me at let me flip up the other screen so we have our Twitter handles. I'm Sean. You can find me at Sean Nittner just about anywhere. I don't actually know what next games I'm playing. Oh, I know what next games we're playing pretty soon. Starting in August. Starting in August. Strash and I and a couple other rad folks are going to be playing Mutants in the Night, which I'm super excited about. It's DC's Blades and Durakak, and where we all play rad mutants that are persecuted for being rad mutants, and that should be good times. That's going to be starting very beginning of August, so I'm looking forward to that. And then right after that, I'm going to Gen Con, which is gonna like eat my soul. And if I look tired now, I will look even more tired then. So yay, cons. That's me.
I am Najo Tikwer, aka Trista Ray on Twitch, Trist_CHI on Twitter. I have to tell you that I've been holding the image of, instead of Cat's Cradle of Wizard Death, Aya as Serena Williams at the dawn of the universe with her mirror as her racket. So that's what's going on in my brain. If you want more bizarre things, please follow me on Twitter where I'm narrating the beautiful marriage between me and Blue Jay that's happening right now while I crash in her apartment. As soon as I get my new place at the beginning of August, I'm going to look to stream more content and be more places on the internet. So stay tuned. That is it for me.
Yeah.
I'm Shell Khan. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube at Portable City, all one word. I am probably not going to game again online till after Gen Con because that is an all-consuming void for my brain. But
like I'm a dark maelstrom that just sucks you in.
Yeah, it's consumed the light of my soul.
Yeah.
And I'm not even there yet. I am actually super pumped for Gen Con.
We could see your camera is showing us as the light fades from your soul. It's just
gone.
It pulses in and out.
Oh my goodness. But I when I come back after Gen Con, one of the exciting things I'm going to be doing is running a sort of mentorship setup to help folks who haven't GM'd in my local town of Toronto try out GM for friends within the community of Dames Making Games, which is a feminist intersectional women in non-binary and two-spirited folks in games community here in Toronto. So it's an honor, and I'm so excited to get that going. So that's my next gaming thing, is hoping to just empower more people to game. So that if you want to follow how that goes, again, keep an eye on my Twitter at Portable City. Well, that's me.
Hey folks, I'm Strash. You can find me on Twitter at StrashA. I write games, and speaking of Gen Con, that is the street date for one of the games that I wrote, Scum and Villainy, which you should check out. You can pre-order it on Evil Hat's site or pick it up at Gen Con or stores on the same dates, roughly. Here, there's a rumor that some UK people may already have copies.
Shaking my tiny fist.
This giant black beast here that inspired all of my shadow monsters is Nemo, and yeah, I talk about games, I do game design, and that's me in a nutshell. Thank you folks for letting me overplay today. I was a little nervous. I haven't done this in a while. I woke up super early. I was like, okay, sword and sorcery, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Luke, who helped me, who gave me a prompt of wizard, twisted bones, and starlight trapped in mirrors last night, which was what I wove overnight into the madness that we saw this morning. So yeah,
good stuff, man.
Absolutely epic.
All right. Do we have another one of these shown up anytime in the?
Oh yeah, we do. When is the next one of these? Let's look on Yield.
I think it's actually next Sunday, if I'm not wrong.
That could be.
That is correct.
That is correct. Yes, the 29th. We'll be back for more Swords That Master with Naja, Misha, and Strash. When Effie will be back as a player, and oh no, not Strash. Sorry, Naja, Misha, and me. Yeah. What's going on? Unless you want to take my spot, Josh, because you're like,
I did once show up when I wasn't scheduled. Like, half literally, I was like, "Hello, I'm here." And you're like, "Strash, you're not supposed to be here." I'm like, "Okay,
Go home, you're drunk.
Okay, all right." Yes, so Naja, Misha, and I will be there. Maybe we'll see to click check the sorcerer next time. From the abyss. Yeah, no, that'll be great. So we'll all be back here next week, so all kinds of fun stuff on actual play coming up soon. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon. Bye.